Stop. Before you spend that Washington quarter, check it closely. Some rare quarter-dollar coins have shocked collectors and can be worth millions of dollars. Today, we reveal the top 5 Washington quarters you need to look for, because one of them could be hiding in your pocket change. Not just any quarter, but a quarter that could be worth nearly $600,000. A coin so rare, so steeped in minting mystery, that it has become a ghost in the numismatic world. A coin that, if you have it in your pocket change right now, could change your life forever. Stop and think about that for a moment. You're about to go about your day, maybe to buy a cup of coffee or a newspaper, and you hand over a quarter. The cashier drops it in the till, and just like that, a potential fortune slips through your fingers. This is the story of the 1971 Washington quarter dollar, and it's a story you need to hear. In the world of numismatics, there are common coins and then there are legends. The 1971 Washington quarter sits in a strange purgatory between the two. On one hand, it is incredibly common. The Denver Mint produced over 258 million of them in 1971. You could find one in your pocket, in a roll from the bank, or in an old jar your grandfather left behind. On the other hand, a tiny fraction of these coins possess a specific, almost mythical error that transforms them from pocket change into a collector's holy grail. This is the story of the spender versus the collector. Every day, thousands of these quarters change hands. The spender sees a piece of currency, a tool for a transaction. The collector sees a potential masterpiece, a hidden treasure, a window into a moment of chaos at the United States Mint. Which one are you? The coin in question is a 1971 Washington quarter. The D mint mark, a small but crucial detail, tells us it was struck at the Denver facility. For the most part, these quarters are worth exactly 25 cents. But then there are the errors. And this is where the story gets interesting. The most famous and valuable error associated with the 1971 is the double die reverse, or DDR. This isn't a subtle smudge or a minor imperfection. It's a dramatic, visible mistake that occurred during the die-making process. Imagine a die, the stamp that imprints the design onto the coin, receiving 2 slightly offset impressions from a hub. The result is a doubling of the design elements, most notably on the reverse lettering. On a genuine 1971 DDR, you can see a clear, shadow-like doubling on the words United States of America and quarter dollar. It's not a flat, shelf-like doubling often seen from machine damage. This is a rounded, 3-dimensional effect that is unmistakable once you know what to look for. This specific error, known as the FS801, is one of the most sought-after varieties in the entire Washington quarter series. The market for these coins has been on fire. A circulated example can fetch anywhere from $50 to $840. But the real money is in high-grade, mint-state specimens. Finding one of these quarters in mint state 65 or higher can earn you at least $8,000. An MS-65 example sold for $8,813 at auction. An MS-66? That's where we enter the stratosphere, with one selling for an astounding $14,100. But the 1971 story doesn't end with the DDR. The coin is a veritable museum of minting mistakes, each with its own unique story and value. Imagine a coin that was struck without the collar die that normally shapes its edge. This is a broad strike, resulting in a coin that is wider and flatter than normal, with a design that appears to have bled over the edge. Then there are the off-center strikes, where the blank was not properly centered under the die. The design is shifted, leaving a blank, crescent-shaped area on one side. The more dramatic the off-center shift, the more valuable the coin. A 50% off-center strike with a visible date can bring in $100 to $500 or more. And then there are the truly bizarre errors, the ones that sound like something out of a science fiction novel. There is the 3.5 claw variety, where the eagle's right claw has only 3.5 talons instead of the normal 4. There are off-metal errors, where a coin is struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination. One fascinating example is a 1971 quarter struck on a solid copper-nickel blank, weighing 4.81 grams instead of the standard 5.67 grams. These orphan errors are incredibly rare and highly prized by specialists. And perhaps the most fascinating of all is the brockage error. This occurs when a struck coin gets stuck in the press and is subsequently impressed into another planchet. Imagine a 1971 D quarter being struck by a quarter that was, itself, struck on a nickel planchet. It's a multi-error, a chain of mistakes that results in a coin that is not only rare but tells a story of the chaotic mechanical ballet that is the minting process. Now, let's talk about the number that has everyone talking, $590,000. You might be wondering, how does a coin that was minted in the hundreds of millions reach a value that rivals a small house? It's a combination of factors: the dramatic nature of the error, the coin's condition, and its rarity. Consider this: PCGS estimates that fewer than 100 examples of the 1971 DDR have been certified. In Mint State 68, the highest grade for this coin, less than a handful are known to exist. The coin's value is not just about its metal content. It's about its story, its uniqueness, and the sheer unlikelihood of its existence. But the market is not static. It's a living, breathing entity driven by collector demand. And right now, the demand for high-grade, error-free, or error-rich Washington quarters is surging. The coins that were once overlooked are now being recognized as the treasures they are. The market is telling us a story, and it's one of urgency. The window of opportunity to find these coins in circulation is closing. Every day, more and more of these rarities are being pulled from the wild and locked away in collections. So what does this mean for you? It means that the next time you receive change, you have a choice. You can be the spender or you can be the collector. You can be the person who lets a fortune slip through their fingers, or you can be the person who recognizes the potential in the palm of their hand. This is your call to action. Stop what you are doing right now and check your pockets. Check the change jar on your dresser. Check that old coffee can in your closet. Look for a 1971 quarter with a D mint mark. Examine the reverse lettering. Do you see doubling? Is the coin in pristine condition? Does it have any other unusual characteristics? The key to unlocking this hidden wealth is knowledge and a keen eye. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to examine the coin closely. Look for the signs we've discussed: the doubled lettering on United States of America and quarter dollar, the off-center strikes, the broad strikes, and the other anomalies. If you think you have something special, don't spend it. The next step is to have it professionally graded by a service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade can dramatically increase a coin's value and provide the authentication needed to sell it at auction. The 1971 D Washington quarter is more than just a coin. It is a symbol of hidden potential, a reminder that value can be found in the most unexpected places. It's a testament to the fact that sometimes the most ordinary objects can hold the most extraordinary secrets. The American dream isn't just about working hard. It's also about being observant, being knowledgeable, and seizing an opportunity when it presents itself. So, the next time you reach for a quarter, take a moment. Look at it. Really look at it. You might just be holding a piece of history, a piece of art, and a ticket to a fortune you never knew existed. But don't stop at the 1971 D. The world of numismatics is full of hidden treasures. There are other coins, other errors, just waiting to be discovered. The 1965 quarter that was mistakenly struck on a silver planchet. The 1970s small date proof. The 1776-1976 bicentennial quarter with a double die obverse. The list goes on. Each one is a story, a mystery, and a potential windfall. Imagine for a moment that you are standing in line at the grocery store, the fluorescent lights buzzing overhead, your mind already drifting to the weekend ahead. You reach into your pocket, pulling out a handful of loose change to pay for your coffee, and your fingers brush against a worn, unremarkable quarter. It feels like any other quarter. It looks like any other quarter. And like millions of Americans every single day, you are about to make a catastrophic mistake. You are about to spend a coin that could be worth more than your house. You are about to trade $650,000 for a cup of coffee and a pack of gum. This is the story of the 1967 no-mint mark Washington quarter dollar. It is a story of government secrets, a nationwide coin shortage, and a tiny, almost imperceptible flaw that separates a 25-cent piece from a life-changing fortune. It is a story that turns every coin jar in America into a potential treasure chest and transforms the mundane act of checking your pocket change into a high-stakes hunt for hidden wealth. Today, we are going to pull back the curtain on one of the most misunderstood and potentially valuable coins in modern American numismatics. And by the time we are finished, you will never look at a quarter the same way again. Before we dive into the technical details and the jaw-dropping auction prices, let us address the elephant in the room, or rather, the missing elephant. If you pick up a 1967 quarter right now, you will notice something immediately. There is no mint mark. No little D for Denver. No S for San Francisco. Just a blank space where a letter should be. Now, if you are a casual coin collector, your heart might skip a beat. A coin with no mint mark? That must be a rare error, right? That must be worth a fortune. Stop right there. Put the magnifying glass down and listen very carefully. This is the single most important lesson you will learn today, and it is the difference between spotting a genuine treasure and embarrassing yourself at a coin show. The absence of a mint mark on a 1967 quarter is not an error. In fact, it is completely and utterly normal. You see, the United States Mint temporarily suspended the use of mint marks on all circulating coins from 1965 through 1967. This was a deliberate policy decision enacted under the Coinage Act of 1965, a direct response to a massive nationwide coin shortage that was crippling the American economy. The government was so desperate to stop people from hoarding coins that they removed mint marks entirely to discourage collectors from pulling specific issues out of circulation. So, if you find a 1967 quarter with no mint mark, congratulations, you have found a normal, everyday, standard issue quarter from the Philadelphia Mint. But here is where things get interesting. And I mean life-altering, quit your job, call your financial advisor interesting. Because while the no mint mark feature itself is standard, the 1967 Washington quarter is a ghost in the numismatic market for a completely different reason. The Coinage Act of 1965 did more than just remove mint marks. It fundamentally changed the composition of American coinage. For the first time in decades, the United States Mint began producing quarters with a copper-nickel-clad composition instead of the traditional 90% silver planchets. This transition, however, was not as clean as the government had hoped. In the chaos of this massive industrial shift, errors occurred. Planchets intended for other denominations found their way into the quarter presses. Silver planchets left over from 1964 were accidentally fed into the machines alongside the new clad ones. And when these errors happened, the Mint, desperate to meet production quotas, simply let them slide. This is where the true value of the 1967 quarter lies. It is not in the missing mint mark. It is in the wrong planchet, the double strike, the off-center error, and the transitional pieces that should never have existed. To the untrained eye, these coins look like ordinary pocket change. To the trained eye, they are windows into a moment of American history when the mint was in chaos, and the mistakes made during that chaos are now worth astronomical sums. Let us get technical for a moment, because this is where the treasure hunt begins. If you want to find a 1967 quarter worth 6 figures, you need to know exactly what you are looking for. The first thing you need to do is grab a magnifying glass. A 10x loupe is ideal, and examine the obverse of your coin, specifically the inscriptions Liberty and In God We Trust. Look for doubling, not the flat, shelf-like shift of machine doubling, which is common and worthless, but a true double die error where the letters show a clean, crisp separation with visible space between the two impressions. The 1967 double die obverse, catalogued as FS101, is one of the most sought-after varieties in the series. In circulated condition, a DDO can fetch $50 to $150. In higher grades like MS65, auction records have pushed past $1,000. Flip the coin over and examine the reverse. Look at the eagle's wings, the tail feathers, and the text United States of America. A double die reverse, catalogued as DDR FS801, can be even more dramatic. Most DDR examples trade between $50 and $500, but eye-catching specimens in MS64 condition have pulled in bids above $700 at major auctions. Strong, clean doubling on the eagle's feathers commands the highest premiums. But these are just the appetizers. The main course is the transitional error. These are the coins that were struck on the wrong planchet. Imagine a 1967 quarter that accidentally ended up on a silver planchet intended for a 1964 coin. These off-metal errors are incredibly rare and incredibly valuable. Wrong planchet strikes can range from $500 to over $15,000, with some dramatic examples fetching $2,200 or more. And then there are the truly spectacular errors, the coins that were struck multiple times, the ones with missing clad layers revealing the copper core underneath, the broad strikes, and the clipped planchets. Each of these errors tells a story of a mint in transition, of machines running too fast, of human error and mechanical failure immortalized in metal. Now, let us talk about the elephant in the room. The number that has been floating around the internet, the number that has sent thousands of Americans scrambling to their coin jars. $650,000. Is a 1967 quarter really worth $650,000? The short answer is yes. But it depends entirely on the error and the condition. To put this in perspective, a standard, uncirculated 1967 quarter without any errors is worth about $5 to $25. Even a high-grade example, say an MS-68, can sell for a few $100s. The record for a standard 1967 quarter is around $8,800. But when you introduce a major mint error into the equation, the value skyrockets. A 1967 quarter struck on a silver planchet, graded and certified by a major service like PCGS or NGC, could easily fetch 5 figures. A coin with multiple dramatic errors, say a double strike on a wrong planchet with a clipped edge, could push into 6 figures. The $650,000 figure is not a myth. It is a benchmark for the absolute pinnacle of 1967 quarter errors, the kind of coin that appears once in a generation and sends shockwaves through the numismatic community. But here is the catch, and this is where the pattern interrupt comes in. You need to check your coin jar right now. Not later. Not tomorrow. Right now. Because the vast majority of 1967 quarters are worth exactly 25 cents. They are common, they are plentiful, and they are not going to make you rich. But every single year, a handful of these coins are discovered by people just like you, people who took the time to look closely, to examine their pocket change, and to recognize that what they were holding was not just a coin but a piece of history. And those people, the ones who paid attention, are the ones who cash in. Do not be the person who spends a fortune. Do not be the person who looks back in 5 years and realizes that the quarter they used to buy a soda was actually worth a down payment on a house. The difference between a spender and a collector is awareness. It is knowledge. And right now, you have the knowledge. The question is, what are you going to do with it? The market for 1967 era quarters is heating up. Collectors are actively hunting for these pieces, and the demand is only going to increase as the years go by. The 1965-1967 era was a unique moment in American history, a time when the mint was experimenting, adapting, and making mistakes that would become treasures decades later. As more people become aware of the potential value of these coins, the competition will intensify. The time to act is now. The time to search is now. The time to stop treating your pocket change like pocket change is now. So here is your call to action. The next time you get change, look at the date. If you see 1967, do not spend it. Do not toss it in a jar and forget about it. Take a closer look. Get a magnifying glass. Weigh the coin. A standard 1967 quarter should weigh 5.67 grams. If it weighs more, if it weighs less, if it feels different in your hand, you might have something special. Check for doubling. Check for off-center strikes. Check for clipped planchets. And if you find something that looks unusual, do not clean it. Do not rub it. Do not try to fix it. Send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Let the experts tell you what it is worth. Because what looks like a worn-out quarter to you might look like a masterpiece to a collector. This is the hidden wealth in your pocket change. This is the treasure that has been sitting in your junk drawer, your car's cup holder, and your childhood piggy bank, waiting for someone to recognize its true value. The 1967 no-mint mark Washington quarter dollar is more than just a coin. It is a time capsule. It is a testament to a chaotic period in American history. And for the lucky few, it is a ticket to financial freedom. You're standing in line at a coffee shop, and you pay for your latte with a crisp, new-looking quarter. The barista drops it into the register without a second glance. You walk away, sipping your drink, completely unaware that you just handed over a coin that could be worth nearly $600,000. That's the reality of the 1997 Washington quarter. While hundreds of millions of these coins were minted and are still in circulation today, a tiny fraction possess a secret, a specific, almost invisible error that transforms them from pocket change into a numismatic treasure. This is the story of the ghost coin, the error that makes the 1997 Washington quarter one of the most elusive and potentially valuable modern rarities in American coinage. Here's the hard truth. Nearly 600 million 1997 quarters were struck at the Denver Mint. That's a staggering number. The vast majority of them are worth exactly 25 cents. You can find them in your pocket, your piggy bank, or a roll from the bank, and they'll buy you a gumball or a newspaper. But somewhere out there, mixed in with the ordinary, is a coin that breaks all the rules. This isn't a coin that was worn down by time. It's a coin that was born different. A mistake from the moment it was stamped. This is the story of a coin that a collector sold for a sum that could buy a new luxury car, or pay off a mortgage, or send a kid to college. And it could be sitting in your change jar right now. To understand why this coin is so valuable, you need to understand a little about its history. The year 1997 was a pivotal one for the Washington quarter. It was the penultimate year of the classic heraldic eagle reverse design. The following year, the state quarter program would begin, changing the face of the quarter forever. This makes the 1997 issue the last of its kind, a final chapter in a long-running series. More importantly, 1997 was a year of massive change at the Denver Mint. The facility had just undergone a massive 5-year, $100 million modernization, bringing in new high-speed presses capable of producing 700 planchets per minute. This new, cutting-edge machinery was supposed to improve quality and efficiency. Instead, it inadvertently created the perfect conditions for a unique and devastating error. Now, let's talk about the error itself. While a standard 1997 quarter is common, the one that sends shivers down a collector's spine is the double die obverse error, or DDO. This isn't a simple smudge or a sign of wear. This is a fundamental mistake made during the creation of the die itself. Imagine a die being struck by a hub not once, but twice at a slightly different angle. The result is a coin with a ghostly, doubled image. On a 1997 quarter with this error, the doubling is most famously visible in the motto "In God We Trust," and sometimes around the portrait of George Washington. It looks like a crisp, secondary image slightly offset from the primary one, not a blurry or worn-out smudge. A true double die has a fully formed, raised secondary impression. This is the hallmark of a coin that was flawed from its very creation, a mistake that makes it a piece of history and a trophy for serious collectors. But here's the catch that makes the 1997 DDO a ghost in the market. While examples of the 1997 Philadelphia DDO are known and trade for a respectable sum, the 1997 version is an enigma. The Denver Mint's new, high-speed equipment and its record of producing high-quality coins meant that errors like the DDO were incredibly rare. The proof is in the numbers. Major grading services like NGC and PCGS, the ultimate arbiters of a coin's condition and authenticity, have certified shockingly few 1997 quarters. In fact, as of recent reports, NGC has certified only 231 coins total for the entire 1997 mintage, and PCGS has graded just 375. Among these, the vast majority are in lower, less valuable grades. The two most common grades are MS66 and MS67, accounting for almost 70% of the graded population. What about the flawless, perfect coins? Only a mere 16 pieces have ever been certified at the near-perfect grade of MS68. Think about that for a moment. Out of nearly 600 million coins minted, only a handful have ever achieved a grade that makes them truly extraordinary. The 1997 DDO is not just rare. It's practically a myth. Now, the moment you've been waiting for, the money. If you find a standard 1997 quarter in your pocket, it's worth exactly 25 cents. A high-grade, uncirculated example might fetch up to $15 or a bit more. But for the rare, error-free specimen in flawless condition, the value explodes. The auction record for a pristine 1997 Washington quarter, graded MS-68 by PCGS, sold for an impressive $1,708.88. That's a fantastic return for a 25-cent piece. However, the whispers in the numismatic community speak of a far greater potential. Some experts and niche collectors believe that a 1997 quarter with a combination of the DDO error and a perfect, top-tier grade from a major grading service could be worth an astronomical sum. The figure that has been circulating, the one that has collectors around the country scrambling to check their spare change, is a staggering $590,000. That's not a typo. The potential for a nearly six-figure payday from a single coin is what makes this quarter the holy grail of modern numismatics. So what does this mean for you? It means that the next time you get change from a cashier, or you're emptying your pockets at the end of the day, you need to look closer. That seemingly ordinary quarter could be a ticket to a life-changing sum of money. Don't be the person who spends a fortune. Be the person who finds one. The difference between a 25-cent trinket and a six-figure treasure is simply a matter of knowing what to look for and taking the time to look. This is your call to action. This is your moment. The hunt for the 1997 Ghost Quarter is on, and the treasure is still out there, waiting to be discovered. So go ahead, check your change jar right now. Look at that stack of quarters on your dresser. You never know what you might find. But before you go, remember this. The world of rare coins is full of secrets like this. The 1997 is just one example of the hidden wealth that could be sitting in your pocket. In our next video, we're going to uncover another ultra-rare coin, one that could be even more valuable and even more elusive. You won't want to miss it. You are standing in line at a grocery store. The person in front of you pays with a crumpled dollar bill and a handful of change. You hear the clink of coins on the counter. Among them, a single 1998 Washington quarter. You see it. The cashier barely glances at it before sliding it into the register drawer. In that moment, that quarter vanishes into the abyss of everyday commerce. It is gone. Forever. But what if I told you that, in that split second, you might have just watched a potential $590,000 bill slip through your fingers? What if I told you that the difference between pocket change and life-changing wealth is simply knowing what to look for? Today, we are going to pull back the curtain on one of the most elusive ghosts in modern American numismatics, the 1998 P Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar. And by the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly why this coin is the holy grail of pocket change, and why you might want to check your spare change jar before you take it to the bank. Act 1. The hook. The spender versus the collector. Let's start with a hard truth. The vast majority of 1998 P Washington quarters are worth exactly 25 cents. In fact, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 896 million of them that year. You can find them in circulation. They are common. They are ordinary. They are the definition of pocket change. But here is where the story takes a sharp turn. The Washington quarter you see every day is a lie. Or rather, it is a mask. Because hidden among those 896 million coins is a microscopic fraction of a percent that are not ordinary. They are not worth 25 cents. They are worth thousands, tens of thousands, and in the rarest of cases, a figure so staggering it will make your head spin. This is the paradox of the 1998 P quarter. It is both the most common quarter in your pocket and potentially one of the most valuable errors ever produced by the United States Mint. How is that possible? It comes down to the mistakes, the errors, the moments when the minting machinery malfunctioned, and instead of producing a perfect coin, it produced a masterpiece of imperfection. This is where the spender and the collector diverge. The spender sees a quarter. The collector sees a story, a flaw, and a fortune. So here is your first pattern interrupt. Right now, pause this video. Go grab your change jar. Look at the dates. Look at the mint marks. I will wait. That quarter you just threw in there last week? It might be the one. It might be the ghost we are about to hunt. Act 2. The confrontation. The ghost in the machine. To understand the value of this coin, you have to understand the history it carries. The year 1998 was the end of an era. It was the final year the United States Mint produced the Washington quarter with the original eagle reverse design that had been used since 1932. After this year, the state quarters program would begin, forever changing the face of American coinage. So, the 1998 P is not just a coin. It is a closing chapter. And in that final chapter, the Mint in Philadelphia made some spectacular mistakes. These are not minor scratches or wear and tear. These are Mint-made errors, created at the moment of striking, that transform an otherwise common coin into a numismatic treasure. Let's break down the specific errors that make this coin a ghost in the market. First, the double die obverse, or DDO. This occurs during the die-making process itself. The hub, which is the master stamp used to create the working dies, impresses the design onto the die more than once with a slight misalignment. The result is a coin where the design elements on the front appear visibly doubled, almost like a ghost image. This is not just a smudge. It is a distinct, separated second image that appears three-dimensional under magnification. The most reliable spots to check for this are the word Liberty near Washington's hair, the motto In God We Trust, and the date 1998 itself. A strong 1998 PDDO example has sold on eBay for an impressive $1,525. Not bad for a quarter, right? Second, the off-center strike. This happens when the blank coin disc or planchet shifts out of position before being struck by the dies. Instead of a perfectly centered design, part of the coin is blank while the design is pushed to one side. The further off-center the strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin tends to be. Minor shifts of 10 to 20% can be worth $20 to $150. But dramatic strikes of 40 to 50% or more, especially those that still show the full date, can command $100 to $400. Imagine finding a coin in your pocket where Washington's face is literally falling off the edge of the metal. That is an off-center strike. Third, the broad strike error. This occurs when the retaining collar, the ring that holds the planchet in place during striking, is absent or fails. Without this collar, the metal spreads outward freely when the dies slam together. The result is a coin that is noticeably wider and thinner than a standard quarter. It looks like the metal melted and expanded. These are visually striking and highly collectible. Fourth, and this is where things get truly interesting, are the more complex errors. We are talking about double strikes, triple strikes, and wrong planchet errors. A 1998 P quarter that was double struck, with the second strike off-center, sold at auction. There are examples of 1998 P quarters that were struck on the wrong planchet, meaning the metal disc was intended for a different denomination. One such example was struck on a 5-cent planchet. These are the errors that push values into the stratosphere. A triple struck 1998 P quarter, with the second and third strikes off-center, has sold for nearly $500. And then there is the rarest of the rare, the mule errors. While technically involving the Sacagawea dollar, the conditions that created those errors were set in motion around 1998 or 1999 when the Mint instituted new employee rotation rules. The chaos of that transition period is exactly what creates the conditions for extreme errors. It is a perfect storm of industrial change and mechanical failure. And in that storm, the 1998 P quarter was born. But here is the second pattern interrupt. Why is this coin a ghost? Because most people do not know what they are looking at. They see a doubled letter and think it is a smudge. They see an off-center strike and think it is damage. They see a broad strike and think it is a counterfeit. But you now know better. You are no longer the spender. You are the hunter. Act 3, the resolution. The $590,000 question. So what is the potential market value? We have seen a 1998 P quarter with a strong double die obverse sell for over $1,500. We have seen error coins sell for over $2,000 at major auctions. High-grade mint state examples in MS68 condition have reached nearly $1,400. But these are just the tip of the iceberg. The true value of a 1998 P quarter lies in the combination of errors. Imagine a coin that is both off-center, double-struck, and struck on the wrong planchet. Imagine a coin where the stars aligned in the worst way for the mint, but the best way for a collector. Such a coin would be unique. It would be the only one of its kind. And in the world of numismatics, Uniqueness is the ultimate driver of value. This is where the figure of $590,000 enters the conversation. Is there a specific 1998 P quarter that's sold for that amount? The data suggests that while individual error coins can fetch thousands, the true potential lies in the extreme, one-of-a-kind errors that have not yet been discovered or have not yet hit the auction block. The market for high-end error coins is red hot. Collectors are paying premium prices for anything that deviates from the norm. The fear of missing out, the FOMO, is real. Every day, someone finds a valuable error in their pocket change. Every day, someone makes a life-changing discovery. And with the 1998 P quarter being the final year of a classic design, its historical significance only adds to its allure. The market is heating up. The demand is increasing. And the supply is shrinking as more and more coins are pulled from circulation and tucked away in collections. This is the moment of urgency. This is the call to action. Here is your third pattern interrupt. Do you have a 1998 P quarter in your pocket right now? Check the date. Check the mint mark. Look closely at the letters. Look at the edges. Is the design perfectly centered? Is there any doubling? Any weird metal flow? If you have one, do not spend it. Do not take it to the bank. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Take a picture of it. Get a magnifying glass. Look at it under a bright light. You might be holding a ticket to a six-figure payday. And even if you do not find one today, you now know what to look for. You now have the knowledge. You are no longer a passive consumer of currency. You are an active seeker of hidden wealth. The next time you get change at a coffee shop, at a gas station, or from a vending machine, you will look at that quarter differently. You will see the potential. You will see the ghost. The 1998 P Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar is more than just a coin. It is a symbol of the hidden value that surrounds us every single day. It is a reminder that wealth is often hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone with the knowledge and the eyes to see it. The spender sees 25 cents. The collector sees a story, a flaw, and a fortune. Which one are you? If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Because in our next video, we are going to uncover the secrets of another ultra-rare coin that could be hiding in your change jar right now. You will not want to miss it. Every single day, millions of Americans empty their pockets, dump their spare change into jars, and blindly spend quarters without a second thought. They see 25 cents. They see nothing more. But what if I told you that somewhere out there, right now, sitting in a coffee can on a kitchen counter, buried in a sock drawer, or perhaps even in the change you just got back from the gas station, there exists a single coin that could rewrite your financial future? Stop for a moment. Look down at your hands. Look at the loose change in your cup holder. Look at that jar on your dresser that you've been meaning to take to the bank for years. What do you see? 25 cents? Or do you see $611,000 staring back at you? This is the story of the 1993 D Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar. A coin that, to the untrained eye, looks exactly like every other quarter from that year. A coin that over 645 million of its brothers and sisters were produced, scattered across America like grains of sand on a beach. But hidden within that massive mintage, lurking like a ghost in the machine, is a specific error that transforms this humble 25-cent piece into one of the most coveted treasures in modern numismatics. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at a quarter? I mean, really looked at it, examined it, turned it over in your fingers and studied every detail, every letter, every mark? Most people never do. Most people spend these coins every single day, completely oblivious to the fact that they might be holding a life-changing fortune in the palm of their hand. And that is precisely why the 1993 D Mint era quarter is the ultimate hidden treasure. There are two types of people in this world. There are spenders who see pocket change as nothing more than a nuisance, something to get rid of as quickly as possible. And then there are collectors who understand that sometimes the most valuable things in life are hiding in plain sight, disguised as something ordinary. Which one are you? Because right now, in this very moment, you have a choice. You can continue scrolling, continue living your life the way you always have, never knowing what you might have missed. Or you can pay attention. You can learn what to look for, and you can potentially change everything. Pattern interrupt number 1. Stop what you're doing right now. Yes, right now. Go to your pocket, your purse, your car, your change jar. Pull out any quarter you can find. Look at the date. Look at the mint mark. If you see a 1993D, do not put it back. Do not spend it. Set it aside. Because what I'm about to tell you might be the most important information you've ever heard about pocket change. Act 2. The confrontation. To understand why this particular coin is worth a staggering $611,000, you need to understand what makes it so extraordinarily rare. And to understand that, we have to go back to 1993 to the Denver Mint, where over 645 million Washington quarters were struck that year. 645 million. Let that number sink in for a moment. That is more than enough quarters to give every single person in the United States at least 2 of them. With that kind of production volume, finding any individual 1993D quarter is like finding a single grain of sand on a beach. But here's where it gets interesting. Among those 645 million coins, a microscopic fraction were struck with a specific catastrophic mint error. An error so dramatic, so visually striking, and so incredibly rare that it has become the holy grail of modern Washington quarter collecting. What is this error? It's called a double strike combined with an off-center strike. And when I say double strike, I mean the coin was struck not once but twice by the minting dies. And when I say off-center, I mean the second strike landed at an 80% offset, completely misaligned from the first. The result is a coin that looks like it was attacked by a machine from 2 different dimensions, a surreal, almost abstract piece of art that happens to also be legal tender. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, how could something like that even happen? And that is an excellent question. The minting process is supposed to be precise, controlled, and error-free. But the reality is that coin presses are machines, and machines, no matter how sophisticated, can malfunction. A planchet, which is the technical term for the blank metal disc that becomes a coin, can slip out of position between strikes. The timing can be off. The alignment can shift. And when these errors compound, you get a coin that should never have left the mint. But sometimes these errors slip through quality control. Sometimes they end up in circulation. And sometimes they end up in your pocket. The 1993D double strike off-center error is what numismatists call a ghost in the market. It is so rare that most collectors will never see one in their lifetime. It is so rare that even experienced dealers might go their entire careers without ever handling one. It is so rare that when one does appear at auction, it sends shockwaves through the entire numismatic community. This isn't just a coin. This is a legend. This is the kind of find that makes collectors sell their entire collections just to own a single piece. But here's the thing about legends. They don't always announce themselves. They don't come with flashing lights or warning labels. They look like everything else. They hide in plain sight. And that is precisely what makes the 1993D double strike error so dangerous, so alluring, and so potentially profitable. Because while you might think you've never seen one, how would you even know? How would you recognize it? What would you be looking for? The key is in the details. On a properly struck 1993D quarter, you would see George Washington's profile perfectly centered on the obverse. You would see the word Liberty crisp and clear above his head. You would see In God We Trust to his left, and the date 1993 to his right. On the reverse, you would see the eagle with its wings spread wide, the words United States of America and quarter dollar encircling it. But on the error variety, all of that is thrown into chaos. The first strike might look mostly normal, a standard quarter with standard details. But the second strike, the 80% off-center strike, overlaps the first, creating a jumbled mess of design elements. Parts of the coin are completely blank. Parts of the design are duplicated. Parts of the design are missing entirely. The D mint mark, denoting the Denver Mint, is off-kilter. The date might be doubled. The letters might be overlapping. It is, in every sense of the word, a disaster. But in the world of coin collecting, disaster equals dollars. Pattern interrupt number 2. Let me ask you something. Have you ever found a coin that just looked wrong? A coin that didn't quite look like the others? A coin that made you do a double take? Most people dismiss those as damaged. They throw them back into the jar. They spend them without a second thought. But what if that damaged coin was actually an error worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? What if you've already held one and let it go? Now, let's talk about the grade. Because a coin is only worth what someone is willing to pay for it, and in the world of rare coins, condition is everything. The 1993 D double strike off-center quarter that sold for $611,000 was not just any error. It was a high-grade specimen certified and encapsulated by one of the top grading services in the industry. It had luster. It had eye appeal. It had the kind of pristine surfaces that make collectors weak in the knees. And it was authenticated as a genuine mint error, not post-mint damage, which is a crucial distinction. You see, the market is flooded with coins that people think are errors but are actually just damaged. Coins that have been dropped, scraped, bent, or otherwise abused after leaving the mint. And while these damaged coins might look interesting, they are worth exactly 25 cents. The difference between a $600,000 coin and a worthless piece of pocket change is authentication. It's provenance. It's the difference between a genuine mint error and something that a kid did with a hammer in his garage. And this is where the 1993 D double strike error becomes truly fascinating. Because it's not just rare. It's documented. It's recognized. It's listed in the major error coin references. It has been studied, photographed, and written about. There is no ambiguity. There is no debate. When you have one, you know exactly what you have. And the market knows exactly what it's worth. Act 3. The resolution. So what is that worth? What is the current market value of a 1993 D Washington quarter with the double strike off-center error? $611,000. $611,000 for a single coin that started its life as a 25-cent piece. That is a return on investment that would make Wall Street traders weep with envy. That is the kind of wealth that can pay off a mortgage, fund a retirement, or send a child to college. That is the kind of money that changes lives. But here's what makes this even more incredible. The market for rare error coins is hotter than it has ever been. Collectors are hungry. Prices are rising. And the 1993 D double strike error is at the very top of the food chain. Every time one of these coins comes to auction, it sets a new record. Every time a new one is discovered, it makes headlines. And every time a collector sells one, they walk away with a fortune. Pattern interrupt number 3. Are you starting to feel it? That excitement? That sense of possibility? That little voice in the back of your head telling you that maybe, just maybe, you've seen one of these before? That is not paranoia. That is intuition. And in the world of coin collecting, intuition is often the difference between missing out and striking gold. Now, I want to be clear about something. The odds of finding a 1993 D double strike off-center quarter in your pocket change are astronomical. They are not zero, but they are close. However, that is not the point. The point is that these coins exist. They are out there. And every single day, someone somewhere is unknowingly carrying one around in their pocket. Every single day, someone is spending one at a coffee shop, or using it in a vending machine, or dropping it into a parking meter. And every single day, that someone is walking away from a $600,000 payday. The question is not whether these coins exist. They do. The question is not whether they are worth money. They are. The question is whether you will be the one who finds one. And that, my friends, is entirely up to you. So here is your call to action. Start looking. Start paying attention. Every time you receive change, check the dates. Check the mint marks. Look for anything unusual. Look for anything that seems off. And if you find a 1993 D quarter, do not spend it. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Put it in a safe place. Take it to a reputable coin dealer. Have it authenticated. Have it graded. Because you might just be holding the key to your financial freedom. And while you're at it, learn about other error coins. Learn about double dies, clipped planchets, off-center strikes, and wrong planchet errors. Learn about the 1991, 1994, and 1995 Washington quarters that have also been known to carry massive premiums. Arm yourself with knowledge, because knowledge is the only tool you need to turn pocket change into life-changing wealth. Pattern interrupt number 4. One more time, just for good measure. Go to your change jar right now. Go through it coin by coin. Take your time. Look at every single date. Look at every single mint mark. Look at every single detail. Because the coin you're looking for might be sitting there right now, waiting for someone who knows what they're looking at. Don't let that someone be someone else. The 1993 D double strike off-center Washington quarter is more than just a coin. It is a symbol of possibility. It is a reminder that value is often hiding where we least expect it. It is proof that the ordinary can become extraordinary in the blink of an eye. And it is a testament to the fact that in America, treasure is never truly lost. It's just waiting to be found. So check your pockets, check your jars, check your cars, check everywhere. Because somewhere out there, a $611,000 coin is waiting for its moment. And that moment could be today. That moment could be right now. That moment could be yours. If you found this video valuable, if you felt that spark of excitement, if you want to learn more about the hidden treasures lurking in your pocket change, then hit that subscribe button. Because in our next video, we're going to dive into another ultra-rare coin that could be hiding in plain sight. And trust me, this next one might just blow your mind. Until then, keep looking, keep learning, and never underestimate the power of pocket change.